But up first this hour, a dramatic and surprising twist in the case against the man charged with killing Trayvon Martin. The judge revoking his bond, ordering him to surrender within 48 hours. CNN's Martin Savage is joining us now from Sanford, Florida, with the very latest. So what happened today, Martin?
Well, if it started off as what was supposed to be a routine hearing in which you had members of the media represented by lawyers and you had the defense and the state that were in the courtroom, they were going to talk about what evidence would be released and made public. However, just before that hearing, there was a motion filed on the part of the state to revoke the bond for George Zimmerman, and that quickly overshadowed events because the judge ruled that, yes, bond would be revoked. Here's the point that the state, actually 2 points the state was trying to make. Number one, they said when George Zimmerman turned himself in originally, he had to turn in his passport. He did. Turns out he had 2 passports. He didn't turn in the second one, and the state said that was a violation. But the real issue became money. At the time of that first bond hearing, the family said they had no money. Thereby, bond should be set low. But then it was revealed George Zimmerman had a number of websites that were generating a lot of cash, over $100,000. And it was clear, the state says, from recordings they got of George Zimmerman on the phone to his wife when he was in jail, that they were talking about that cash. Listen to the state attorney as he argued the point before the judge today.
The bottom line is, as the court noted, the court was misled by the actions of the defendant and his wife. And that's why we argue that his bond should be revoked. And the court made that finding also.
Now, of course, the defense is arguing differently. They said, look, the family knew they had a fund, but they didn't really know it was their money, so that's why they said they didn't have a lot of money. Meanwhile, Mark O'Mara now says that his client's going to turn himself in, and they hope to have a new bond hearing. Here's what he said shortly after the hearing.
You know, the revocation of bond, I hope, is temporary. I hope that they will, they'll give us a day in court to explain George's behavior and look at all the circumstances, even the discovery that's come out to date, and determining what he's going to do about letting him back out on bond.
Needless to say that the defense team was very surprised by the developments today. They did not expect that George Zimmerman would have to turn himself back in. Well,
do we know, Martin, when or where Zimmerman will turn himself in?
Less than 48 hours. That was the order that came down specifically from the judge. It's believed it's going to have to be here at Seminole County. In other words, he's going to have to walk back in the same door that he was seen walking out of just a couple of weeks ago. So that is the circumstance now. Exactly how or where he is, no one really knows except for his attorney and his immediate family. I did ask Mark O'Mara, how long will it take for him to return to Florida? He said it would take some time, but he knows the clock's ticking and he's got less than 2 days.
Martin, thanks very much. Let's dig a little bit deeper right now with our CNN legal analyst and in-session contributor in our sister network, True TV, Sonny Hostin. Sonny, does it sound to you like this is going to be temporary or sort of permanent, that he's not going to be allowed out on bond?
I think it's too soon to tell. I don't think there's any question that this judge will likely grant Mark O'Mara's request to have a full hearing on the merits. But, Wolf, I have a copy of the motion to revoke bond that was filed by the government, and it makes some very serious allegations of sort of collusion between George Zimmerman and his wife, Shelley Zimmerman, in trying to make these misrepresentations to the court. It is clear that the government pulled the jailhouse call records, and there are several conversations outlined in this motion, Wolf, that make it pretty clear, I think, that George Zimmerman knew that he had about $135,000 in a credit union account that he shared with his wife, that his wife also knew that there was about $135,000 in this joint credit union account, and that when she represented to the court that this was an indigent family and that she had no knowledge of any funds, that would have been untrue. That would have been a lie. And the judge was pretty clear that he didn't believe that she was telling the truth, and that by omission, George Zimmerman also misrepresented to the court.
Do we know, do you have a sense, and you're an expert in this area, on how this incident, these dramatic developments that are playing out today, the impact it will have on the defense's case, the credibility, shall we say, of George Zimmerman?
Well, this is significant, Wolf. I mean, bottom line, this is a self-defense case. And George Zimmerman's word, his credibility is very important as to what happened that evening. We know Trayvon Martin can't tell his side of the story because he is no longer with us. And so his credibility is so very important. And now you have a judge finding that he made misrepresentations to the court. And I suspect that this is something that could come up, that would be allowed to be used in court at the stand your ground hearing. And that is very, very important, again, because the government is going to try to show that George Zimmerman confronted, pursued Trayvon Martin. And George Zimmerman has said no, that Trayvon Martin attacked him. So his credibility is everything. And at this point, his credibility really has taken quite a hit.
Sunny Hostin, thanks very much.
Thank you.